Hi, I'm Ollie. I'm going to be walking you through your TC2 induction. We're currently in CR3, and I'm going to be walking you through how to turn everything on and make sure we can get audio from our HDX system into the J desk and out of our monitors. First of all, we need to turn our red switch on, which is located by the door. This will put power to all of our sockets. After that, we can turn our desk on, and that's located in this drawer here. Then we can turn our monitors on. The focals, the switch is located on the back, and the NS10 power amp is located in the rack with the power for the desk. After that, we can turn our Mac on and configure our IOs for our HDX system. After logging into Student with the password Student, you'll now need to launch Pro Tools. Once Pro Tools has launched, you'll be presented with Dashboard. This is where you can change the name of your project and the location for where your project is going to be saved. Please make sure you save it in Student Drive with a folder of your own name, and make sure you save all of your further work within that folder. Please take note of your sample rate and bit depth, as you'll need this information to check the Apogee converters later. When the session launches, go to Setup, Playback Engine, and make sure this is set to HDX. After that, go back to Setup, go down to I/O, and this is where we can check and configure our inputs, outputs, and buses for Pro Tools. What we need to make sure this is set to is our default, and our default will be 1 and 2, will be set to 1 and 2, and so on, going down in a grid-like fashion. If it is not, press default. Same for the inputs and our buses. Now, to check our outputs are working, we'll need to create a click track. We can see these are now, the output is now set to output 1 and 2. As I'm playing the click, I can see that the apogees are now flickering on outputs 1 and 2. And now we need to check if the audio is getting into the Jade. So let's have a look at that. Now we have click coming out of our apogees. We need to make sure it's coming into the desk. This is an inline desk, and it has two sets of faders, our short faders and long faders. Our short faders control our tape returns, or Pro Tools outputs, and our long faders control our microphone input trim. To get our outputs from Pro Tools, we need to depress our tape buttons on each channel 1 and channel 2. Then bring our faders up to 0 and enable the left and right buttons for the grey fader. You can see it's in this section here. This will send the signal to our master fader, which in turn will send it to the main volume control for our monitors. And voila! Now let's have a look at setting up a microphone signal into the desk and then into Pro Tools. I've already set up a track in Pro Tools to receive this microphone. So first of all, this microphone is plugged into console mic input 3. So let's have a look. At the top of the desk, we have our third input. As this is a condenser microphone, we need to make sure we have the plus 48 volt button down. That's our phantom power. After that, we need to make sure our direct record button is down. That is labeled DIR. Once this is down, we can then bring up our long fader for channel number 3. This will act as an attenuator for the level inside Pro Tools. As you can see, the level is quite weak at the moment, so set this up to 0 and then adjust your mic gain to fit correctly, or to monitor correctly. Now, let's have a look at setting up our auxiliary sends and monitoring our microphone signal through the desk. Let's have a look at how to set up a headphone mix with our auxiliary sends. In this room, there are two stereo auxiliary sends, auxiliary 1 and 2, and 3 and 4. We're going to be using auxiliary 1 and 2. The blue pot is our volume, and the white pot is our panning. So as we're using a stereo output, we're going to pan channel 1 all the way to the left, and channel 2 all the way to the right, bringing the blue pots up to 12 o'clock. We need to make sure we have our monitor buttons selected. This will mean the auxiliary is receiving the monitor returns from Pro Tools. Now we need to go to our master section to make sure our master outputs are set correctly. Each auxiliary has its own master, auxiliary 1 and 2. Turn these up to 12 o'clock and you should be seeing signal into your headphone amps located in the rack. Now let's have a look at setting up the talkback. The talkback button is located at the bottom of your master section. Enabling it will allow you to talk to your artist in the booth. Don't forget to disable it once you finish talking to them. Now we need to power down the studio. To do this, we do the powering up procedure in reverse, making sure the monitors go off first, followed by the desks, followed by the Mac, and then followed by any outboard gear, and the last thing to do is our main red switch. You now join me in PR1. This Audient mixing console has the same channel strips and master section as the console in CR2. So please watch the PR1 video for the knowledge needed to operate Control Room 2. And with that, good luck with your TC2 test, and don't forget to book it in advance.